Cheers! Name's Randomness2, aka... Finally, For Honor is getting a new gear system. Because apparently, they realized people, aka Shugoki mains, are sick of getting hit by upwards of 70 damage from a raider's zone attack. As such, Ubisoft seems to be proposing the making of a quote scalable fair system on which matches outcomes are still determined by skill rather than gear stats. Also, with a small gap between low and high level gear sets. So basically, just like most top players agree, the current gear stats system is not favorable, not even from a business standpoint. Having that in mind, Ubisoft said they now need a system that has just as meaningful decisions when it comes to assembling gear loadouts. Its impact on gameplay has to be consistent and must be able to be anticipated and adapted to, and must not compromise distinctly loved to market, the Art of Battle system. Well, hopefully less so than the current system does anyway. As such, these are the default perks for each hero. Feel free to pause the video if y'all feel like it. Gale Storm for most assassins, Shields Up for the vanguards, except Tiandi, Aegis for defensive, Devourer, Radiant Rainbound, and Remedy. Another important thing is, so far, there are 3 sets of perk pools, let's put it like that, each with 7 perks. They are assistive perks, defensive perks, and offensive perks, total of 21 perks. It's assigned to each hero, one of these sets, or a combination of it. What I mean is, for example, Shugoki has assistive and also defensive pool perks to choose from, whereas Gladiator has to pick from the offensive perks pool exclusively. Now, you're probably asking, what the hell does all this do, and how you get them, right? Unlikely. So, according to Damien, perks are stuff that gives in-game effects. That's really it. Long version though, they are effects that are activated when the right gear is combined. Gonna get to that in a while, which is done when you customize a specific hero, of course. And they are passive, which means not triggerable, like for example feats, and well, are supposed to quote-unquote synergize with all heroes, current feats, each teammate's playstyles during the matches, and of course the modes themselves, those being Dominion, Tribute, Deathmatch, etc. and etc. Okay, seems straightforward. Precisely the same way as with the current gear system, when you play the game modes, you get a piece of gear for the hero you used, and instead of having a gear piece with specifics or a specific stat change, it will have attached to it 1 or more perks. Simple as that. Hopefully no one's asleep till this point. Once you get the gear pieces with the perks, what you gotta do is put them together, and if necessary upgrade it so it reaches 600 points, which is the standardized threshold right now you have to cross to activate in-game the said perk. We don't actually know if this number is gonna change, but so far that's the number y'all need to have in mind. Now that's really the gist of it all, okay? Perks are something small that doesn't put your damage through the roof, but at the same time gives you an incentive to do good in game. Now, the most recent Warriors then clarifies a few things, and I wanted to make sure that I had in mind their changes and updates on the making of this video. As such, I'll leave a link down below, but I digress. Because a question that keeps popping up no matter what is, what in the name of Valhalla are they gonna do with my precious refined gear pieces that cost me tons of steel? And spoiler alert, they are going away. Damien delved quite deep in the way they're planning this transition, so what I'm gonna do is let him take it from here. Also, an important thing to mention would probably be that there's quite more you can talk about the new perk system, okay? But the basics, I think I covered them all, to be honest. And as such, I'm gonna leave the video here. Really would love to hear what you guys think about this new approach Ubi took. I, for one, am a pleased person.
I mean, you won't have the cool visuals. There's other reasons to get the higher level gear.
Yep.
But in terms of gameplay, if you're happy with those three, if you're happy with the first two, then you're happy with the first two. We're not trying to make the first ones obsolete.
Got it.
Yeah. So the big question is, that's cool. System is cool. It sounds cool. But
Yes.
but what happens to your gear that you spent countless time on it, that you've upgraded, that you have different loadouts, whatever. It's you spent a lot of time of your current gear. So what do we do with that current gear?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. So we and that was one of the mandate of the team as well, is to come up with a new system, but think about what's the transition from the old to the new system,
Right.
and how do we do it the best way for the players. So the idea is that everything you have in your inventory, all the items you have in your inventory, after the update, they still matter. You will still use them. We don't wipe them. We don't delete them. You keep them, and they still matter. And on top of that, we keep everything as close as we can. So if you have a specific gear score, so like 27 on a piece of gear, etc.
Made it to max.
After the update, or made it to max, after the update, it's still to max. So it doesn't
Instead
go
of the
down.
arrows, now it's little ticks around the circle.
Yeah, it's same steps, same upgrade level, same score level, keep to max. For the refine level, we're evolving the system, so it's different, but it will be done to an equivalent step, and we will explain you how.
Yep.
And same visual. So if I take the example of the Lemia helm of the Valkyrie, this is the Lemia helm today, season 7.
Two levels of upgrade.
Exactly, it's a 27, 2 levels of upgrade. Well, when it will be switched to perks, you can see it's still at 27, still the same visual, still 2 levels of upgrade. So no progression lost.
Yes.
That's the idea. Then how do we move from stats to perks?
We want to make sure that people can start playing as soon as the update goes without having to muck around in their inventory.
Right.
So what we've done is we convert your equipped gear different than we convert the rest of the gear. And so the equipped gear is going to be swapped with perks to guarantee that you have at least one perk on, if not 2 at higher rarities. And then the non-equipped gear is going to be randomly assigned with what's possible at that rarity. So if we go a bit more into detail, so the predetermined perks, so for each hero and each rarity, we decide which perks will be on those gears. And if that means if I have all purple gear, all my gears will have the same perk on it, which guarantees I'll have 600 points, which guarantees that I'll have a perk activated, and I can go straight into gameplay.
Great.
So if we take the example of the Lemia helm, if I had it in purple and I had a non-crafted gear, so I would get something that looks like this. And then if I have the Lemia helm and at Legendary, well, maybe we'll give you points towards 2 perks. And depending how much it's activated, I'll at least have one perk, how much it's upgraded, I'll at least have 1 perk activated. I might even start with 2 activated right away.
Very cool. Okay.
And for the non-equipped gear,
yeah, so
still defined per hero, still defined per rarity.
Yeah.
This is still true, but then the perks are assigned randomly.
Yeah.
Why? It's to give variety, to give a possibility for the players to play with different builds, maybe change the perks we gave them by default.
In the weeks leading up to Marching Fire, if people want to kind of hoard some of their inventory, when we switch over to Marching Fire, it gives them a lot to kind of sort through and maybe play around with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
There was no good way to do a conversion of this bundle to that one. It's very obscure. So the best thing we could do was the random.
Cool.
Yeah. So this, for example, the Basset Helm, if you haven't equipped it, could become any of those perks. Because those are the perks that are available at that rarity.
The beautiful volcano perk.
Yes.
Volcano. Not gonna.
So it might not be here at launch.
It might not be here. Sorry.
It is cool.
Sometimes
I like the dice
use
myself
to do icons.
Yeah.
I like the dice icons that you put there.
The dice are gorgeous.
So what's cool? I see you could have 2 perks at less points, 1 perk with more points.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's basically anything that you could loot at that rarity, that's something you could get, but you'll have the same visual and it'll be crafted to match the gear score of everything in your inventory.
Cool.
That's really important too. So it's not only the gear score of what you have equipped, it's all your gear. So if you have crafted, upgraded gear in your inventory, it'll still be there.
Okay. How are we doing, Pascal? Are people getting it? Is it making sense to the audience at home? How do you guys like it?
Less questions than before.
And questions, shout them out.
Last thing about that is how do we do refine?
Right.
And then we go through the question. So the idea with refine is that we go with we have more steps in refine after the update. So we do an equivalent saying if you were refine level 1, before the update, it would become refine level 2 after the update.
You can put the image, we have an example. So you see on the left, that's the current refine. You've got all the beautiful chevrons and
so
the
this
diamond.
one is not refined yet, but it's refinable.
Exactly.
And what you get is a refinable perk version of that.
Yeah, with 2.
Because you have 2 perks, you have 2 steps of refine.
Exactly.
Instead of 1, which is pretty cool.
Because one thing that's important too is with perks, each one gets upgraded separately if there's 2 on the gear. So you can really choose in which order you want to invest in it. Whereas before you had to pay for the whole gear all the time. So now you get to choose.
Cool. And if it's already maxed out, so if you already did the steps of refine, well, the steps are already done as well.
Okay.
And if it was a refine level 2, well, it's a refine level 4 now, becoming 2 perks. And same thing, if it's done or not done, will be also taken into account.
And if it's done halfway, then you'll have 2 out of 4 that are activated.
So, in summary, perks are replacing gear stats in Marching Fire update.
Wait, what? Just kidding.
Let's go through everything again.
And cheers, guys.